Welcome, traveler. Please have a seat. Let this old shade share some stories with you. It starts as a low vibration, a faint droning sound, like an idling engine or distant thunder just on the edge of perception. You check your surroundings. Nothing. You ask your neighbors. They hear nothing at all. And yet it continues. This phenomenon has been reported across the globe. It's called the hum, a mysterious low-frequency noise that thousands claim to hear and no one can explain. Reports of the hum began surfacing as early as the 1970s, though some accounts may trace back even further. The sound is most often described as a persistent, low droning. Not loud, but constant, often felt more than heard, a pressure in the ears, a vibration in the skull, or an uneasy presence in the air. It tends to be most noticeable indoors, especially at night when other sounds fade away. And perhaps most disturbingly, it's only heard by certain people. One of the most well-known outbreaks occurred in Taos, New Mexico. In the early 1990s, residents began complaining about a low, buzzing hum that interfered with their sleep and caused physical symptoms. Headaches, nausea, dizziness, even nosebleeds. In 1993, the town requested a formal investigation. Scientists from Sandia National Labs, Los Alamos, and the University of New Mexico were brought in. They used sensitive microphones, seismic sensors, and electromagnetic detectors to search for the source. They found nothing. Only about 2% of Taos residents reported hearing the hum. That may seem small, but if the same percentage applies globally, millions of people could be hearing something the rest of the world cannot. Taos is not unique. In the UK, residents of Bristol have been hearing a similar noise since at least the 1970s. The Bristol hum, as it came to be known, was eventually studied by acoustic engineers and local officials. Some blamed traffic, others blamed nearby factories, but no clear source was ever confirmed. The hum there has driven people to extreme lengths, sealing windows with lead, soundproofing entire rooms, even sleeping underground to escape it. Similar reports have come from Largs in Scotland, Bondi in Australia, Auckland in New Zealand, and parts of Ireland, Sweden, and Germany. In each case, the core details are eerily alike. A low-frequency sound, a select group of sufferers, and no identifiable source. In Canada, the Windsor hum became so notorious that the Canadian government launched an investigation in 2011. Locals pointed to Zug Island, an industrial area in nearby Detroit. A steel plant and power facilities were suspected, but after years of monitoring and diplomatic discussions with the U.S., the sound persisted even when suspected sources were shut down. In Kokomo, Indiana, a different outcome occurred. After years of complaints, the hum was eventually linked to a pair of industrial devices, a cooling tower and an air compressor. But even after modifications were made, many said the sound never truly went away. This raises a troubling question. Are people hearing machines or something else entirely? Science has offered a few possibilities. Some suggest the hum is a form of tinnitus, an internal ringing of the ears, but tinnitus usually presents as a high-pitched tone. The hum is lower, physical. It vibrates through the body. Others believe it's linked to extremely low-frequency ELF waves used by militaries around the world for submarine communication. These waves travel long distances and penetrate water and earth. While most people cannot detect them, A subset of the population might be more sensitive. Then there's the theory of otoacoustic emissions, tiny sounds produced by the inner ear itself. But that fails to explain why the hum is often stronger in certain locations and disappears entirely in others. And it does not explain why the hum is often described as directional, as if it's coming from somewhere just beyond reach. Another possibility involves geological or atmospheric conditions. Some researchers point to microseisms, faint vibrations in the Earth's crust caused by ocean waves or seismic pressure. Others suspect the hum is related to electromagnetic interference from modern infrastructure, high-voltage power lines, wind farms, underground fiber optics, and cell towers. But this doesn't explain why reports of the hum long predate much of this technology. Then come the more unsettling theories. One of the most persistent links is to HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, a real U.S. research station that studies the ionosphere. Conspiracy theorists believe HAARP is capable of manipulating weather, controlling minds, or projecting inaudible frequencies across great distances. No evidence has confirmed this, but HAARP often surfaces in discussions about the hum. Still others believe the sound is not from this world at all. Some say it's a form of alien communication, a low-frequency transmission meant for other beings, bleeding into our reality. Others claim it's a side effect of dimensional overlap, where different layers of existence momentarily intersect. A few even believe the Earth itself is alive, and the hum is its breathing. In more spiritual interpretations, the hum is described as a sign, a vibrational frequency that signals a coming shift in consciousness or a thinning of the veil between worlds. In these views, those who hear it are not cursed, they are chosen. Governments, for the most part, remain silent. Official reports tend to dismiss the hum as anecdotal or psychosomatic. But there have been exceptions. The British Ministry of Defense has quietly studied hum reports in the past. Some believe the silence from officials isn't ignorance, it's avoidance. Because if the hum has no source, then it cannot be stopped. There's another layer to all of this: the psychological toll. Many who hear the hum report anxiety, insomnia, and feelings of isolation. Some become obsessed, hunting the sound with handheld detectors and recording equipment, even digging into walls and tearing apart electronics in search of something, anything, that will make it stop. Relationships suffer. Sleep becomes rare. For some, the hum becomes a kind of internal prison, and yet others adapt. They learn to live with it. They stop trying to resist. For them, the hum fades into the background of life, always there, but no longer the enemy, which raises perhaps the most disturbing idea of all: that the sound itself is not dangerous. It's the not knowing that destroys us. If you've ever heard something like this, a sound no one else can hear that never seems to stop, you're not alone. And you may be hearing a truth the world has chosen to ignore. If you've experienced the hum, share your story in the comments. And subscribe to Snowshade for more mysteries that refuse to stay quiet